Alright, my name is Tristan Pack. I'm a purple belt under Samuel Braga, the creator of the berimbolo. So we're doing a crab ride seminar today, a deep dive into the entire position, how to take the back, where to take it from, and a lot of troubleshooting on what issues you're going to find when you're in this position. The berimbolo and the crab ride are very much brother and sister, and this style of game may not be for you. I've been training this style literally since day one, and I'm only just now getting good at it. So if you want to get good at this, you have to put a lot of time in. If you guys know anything about history, the greatest samurai ever, Musashi, he said it takes 1,000 hours to create a skill and 10,000 hours to sharpen it. Okay, so that's kind of the way that I think about it. So what is the crab ride? The crab ride is a way that I can take his back. And again, we know that that is the ultimate goal in rolling, is to get on someone's back and submit them. Okay, the key with the crab ride is you need to have every part of your body behind them at all times. Okay, and at the same time as that, you don't want them to face towards you, because if he can face towards me, his back is no longer in the option. Okay, so I'm just going to show really quick what the crab ride is. So go ahead and sit up, man. So if I just do like a basic kind of berimbolo entry, I get here. A crab ride is this, okay, where I can get my feet behind his knees, my knees are pinched, my hands are in front of his hips, and now from here I can start to get positional advantage either with back takes or guard passes or even a mount. Okay, so we're gonna look first actually at the end stage. So the reason I start with the end stage is because if I show you all the entries and you can't finish it, the likelihood of you actually hitting this in a roll is lower because your mind's not gonna wanna get there. But if you know how to finish the position every time you get there, you're gonna be more inclined to do the entries. Okay, so let's start in a very awkward stage where Ben's laying on his back and I'm laying on my back like this. All I'm gonna do is try to get my hand on his hip. And I'm gonna do a back roll. So I'm gonna roll up with my knees and get onto my shoulders. When I do this, we're just gonna focus on one side of the body. So I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna put my crab hook in, and now as I go down, I want you to watch what happens to Ben's body and my leg. My knee is gonna go into his hip, my foot flares out, and as I set him down, his lap, or his hips sit into my lap. This is how I know I've done it correctly. Okay, I have it, I can see his back, it's exposed, his hips are facing away from me, now I can start to climb. If my knee is not in the right spot, and I do it like this, you can see all he has to do is just shrimp away, and it's very easy for him to get out. So the whole goal of this is to control his hip. Okay, every berimbolo is all about, a berimbolo variation is about controlling the hip in some way. Okay, so this is just a very initial kind of gripping sequence that you need to have a good crab ride. So the hip grip is the most important part, and you're not only gripping it with your hand, but also your knee, and this is one of the hardest parts to understand about a crab ride, is how to control the hips. So that's the first drill. So the whole thing is I'm climbing, okay? This whole move is about climbing from the knees to the hips to the shoulders, okay? Like climbing a ladder. So if I'm here, my crab hooks control his knees, my hands control his hips, and eventually his back, right? So I'm here, my crab hooks control his knees, my hands are controlling his hips, and now from here I can use my arms to start to take the back. So let's go into how to take the back. So what I do is I grab his lat, or his trap, and I'm gonna pull myself even higher. Don't make this mistake. Don't throw your hook over early, because it loosens everything up. Instead, I keep a strong hook, I'm gonna grab his lat, and I'm just gonna pull him lower until I can get this underhook. Once I get this underhook, then I'll throw this hook over, and now I'm almost to the back. I can lock my hands here, I can get a seat belt, whatever you prefer, as long as I have this underhook. Okay, so now we have an issue. I can't get this crab hook out. It's really not that hard. All I'm gonna do is just pull him a little bit this way, and now I can take that foot out, and now I'm on the back. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're doing the full climb to the back. The first part was just about controlling the hips, which is the most important part, and now we're talking about how to climb from the knees to the hips to the shoulders to eventually take the back. It's a whole process. It takes a long time to get used to, but once you understand how to create the back exposure and how to stack your opponent, how to have good crab hooks, the whole back take is actually very tight and it's very strong. So that's what we're doing. So let's say with Ben, I get a good purchase, knee to hip, and I get here. Let's say Ben puts his back on the mat, and I'm like, I saw people doing this, I can't take the back, that they're trying to throw the hook over early and it messes everything up. If you cannot push them with your hand on them to get to the back, here's what you're gonna do. Ben, put your back on the mat. All I'm gonna do is pummel my right foot, what will be my top foot, behind, and I'm gonna go into a leg drag. Okay, as I do this, I'm gonna kind of shorten this arm as best I can by going up onto my shoulder. And you see how I'm still doing a crab hook with this leg. Okay, don't just have it like sitting here, because everyone who is getting this done to them is gonna pull your leg into a leg entanglement like this. And now you're in a worse spot. Okay, that's a loss. So I go like this, so now it's harder for him to pull me into a leg entanglement. As I'm on the shoulder, I usually shoot my arm deep to collect his hip, and now I'll start to go up to my knee. So you see how I'm on my hip? I go up to my knee and my shoulder, and I push into him as I come up to my foot, and I'll lift his hips off the ground. If he tries to scoop my leg, which is like my favorite thing people try to do, don't try to like keep a strong hook. Extend your hook all the way to their ankle. Okay, so now when I have this, try to pull my leg into leg entanglement. Not only is he giving me an arm triangle here, I can just take my hand out and go to his head. He's wasting so much energy, and all I have to do is just keep this foot near his ankle. If you're like this and you're trying to hold everything tight, pull my leg into a leg entanglement, it's very easy for him to do that. Okay, so as you come up, extend that leg out, and now from here I get my head in front, and I can lift his hips off the ground.
All right, so now we're doing what I think is the best follow-up for the crab ride, which is entering into the hip lift leg drag. This is one of the best ways to beat someone who either has good bolo defense or is trying to enter your legs, is entering into the leg drag, where you're outside of the legs, you're in a dominant pinning position, and you have the ability to either go towards a pin or re-roll back through into the crab ride again.
I'm gonna show you two different ways you can switch sides. One is easier if you're less flexible, has more of an explosive movement to it. The other one is tighter, but requires more flexibility. So let's show the first one. If my hand is loose here, so you see this body positioning wise, Ben is getting away. So this hook now is now going to be the key here. I put my hand on his hip, you can go hip cup or here. You're gonna go up onto your shoulder again by pinning this leg down to give yourself some time. I'm gonna go over my forehead. As I do that, I'm going to keep my knee tight, okay? And I'm gonna re-roll back into an even better position. Okay, that's if my hand is loose. If my hand is, if my hand is like deep, I'll usually invert and reset sides. Okay, so have the ability to change sides. If you don't have this ability, and this is something that I'm actually still working on, if you don't have that ability, you're kind of limited, right? If he starts to defend and I can't change sides, I kind of just have to give up the whole position. Okay, so as I'm here, if I don't have a deep hip grip, my hand goes in front of the hip. I keep this leg over here tight. I'm gonna go over my forehead. You see how my hook stays like really tight. And now as I go, I'm on the other side. If I have a deep hip grip, I usually invert underneath his hips, and I go to the other side. I get this, maybe I feel like I'm losing it, you can go here, and switch to the other side. I start to lose it, you go here, and now maybe I did the face bolo one, I get this, and now I switch to the other.
All right, so now we're talking about changing sides with the crab ride, which is one of the most important parts. When things aren't going your way, you need to be able to abort and reboot your system of changing to the other side and trying it again there. You can just do this over, and you can just spam this over and over and over again until you get the back or until you get what you want. So this is a very important part of the crab ride, is changing sides.